All right.
Welcome, everybody.
To the second book.
Second month, first episode of Call Me By Your Name.
Woo!
I'm so happy we're finally talking about it.
I know. It's September. It's the end of September. Alex and I have been really going through it this month.
Yeah, we apologize for the late episode. We were displaced for almost a week and a half.
Literally a week and a half.
A week and a half.
Almost 2 weeks now.
We live in the Carolinas, so we were hit by Hurricane Florence, and it was a mess. It was really bad. We got back yesterday and assessed the damage of our house. It wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, but...
Yeah, we've been cleaning all day.
Yeah.
Cleaning and picking up leaves and trees and getting spider bites.
So now we're here to talk about this lovely, lovely book and film.
I had so much fun reading this book.
It was so beautiful.
It made me realize how lonely I am.
Right?
Oh, I was just sitting by myself on the porch reading it, okay.
Just the first 10 pages, it took me 30 minutes to get through just because I kept setting it down just because the words were so beautiful.
And rereading.
Oh, gosh. All right, well, we'll get into all that, but...
Yeah.
Let's
cool.
start out with some information.
Oh, should we talk about a summary of the book?
Yeah.
Is there a good...
Alright, here's a summary. Call Me By Your Name is the story of a sudden and powerful romance that blossoms between an adolescent boy and a summer guest at his parents' cliffside mansion on the Italian Riviera. Each is unprepared for the consequences of their attraction when, during the restless summer weeks, unrelenting... I feel like, you know when you had to read out loud in class?
Popcorn.
I'm so nervous. I'm using my finger. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna start this sentence over. Each is unprepared for the consequences of their attraction when, during the restless summer weeks, unrelenting currents of obsession, fascination, and desire intensify their passion and test the charged ground between them.
Was that one whole sentence?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Recklessly, the two verge toward the one thing both fear they may never truly find again: total intimacy.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah, that sums it right up. So, you want to talk about the book?
Yeah. I'm going to try not to sound so airheaded this time.
Oh my god.
No, I listened to myself back. And
this is all a work in progress.
I'm a work in progress. Alright, so I'll talk a little bit about the author. His name is Andre Aciman. I haven't looked up how you pronounce his last name.
I was going to say, I didn't look up how to pronounce anything, so I'm going to sound so ignorant.
That's fine. So, he was born on the 2nd of January, 1951, so he's, still killing it. He's, 69? So, 59? 69. Yeah, 69.
Yeah. I can't do the math right now.
Me neither, so we're going to go with 69. So, he is currently a distinguished professor at the Graduate Center of the University. He's currently a distinguished professor at the Graduate Center of City University of New York. That's a long name for a school.
No, yeah, that's a lot of the same syllables.
Yeah. Onomatopoeia. Mm-hmm. Alliteration. Where he teaches history of literary theory and the works of Proust, which I think he mentions in the book. Aciman previously taught creative writing at NYU and French literature at Princeton and Bard College.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
What a smart man.
I know. So he was born in Alexandria, Egypt.
Oh,
he was a son. I know. He was the son of two, a couple that owned a knitting factory. He was raised in a French-speaking home where his family members also spoke Italian, Greek, Ladino, which it says, I googled it says Judeo-Spanish. And Arabic. He began writing in the 6th grade, and Call Me By Your Name was his first piece of contemporary fiction. He said up until, I want to say it was a sophomore year of college, he had never read a piece of contemporary fiction. It had always been like nonfiction, I guess, and like the classics. And
oh my god, you can't see it, but my mouth is gaping open. That is crazy.
I know.
Wow.
I know. So his parents were Sephardic Jews. I'm not really sure of Turkish and Italian origin from families that had settled in Alexandria in 1905. They were like a member of one of the foreign communities, so his family members were unable to become Egyptian citizens. So he attended British schools in Egypt while he was there. His family was sparred from the 1956-57 exodus and expulsions from Egypt. His family left Egypt 9 years later in 1965.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
what a life.
And he had his first book written, what is it? Out of Egypt. Yeah, that's one of his first books, if not his first book. And it's a memoir. Out of Egypt.
Oh, I would like to read that.
Yeah. So then his father purchased Italian citizenship for the family and then moved his brother and mother as refugees to Rome while his father lived in Paris. Then they moved to New York City in 1968. He obtained a bachelor's in English and comparative literature from Lehman College in 1973 and an MA and PhD in comparative literature from Harvard in 1988.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sounds like a smart dude.
He is a smart dude. And like, just side note, like when I was reading this, I realized also how lonely I am and how much of an idiot I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that, but yeah.
So a little bit about the novel. Call Me by Your Name won the 2007 Lambda Literary Award, I think that says, in the gay fiction category.
Nice.
So it like won right away.
It was published in 2007, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, that's a good thing to bring up. It was published in 2007. In an interview with Vanity Fair, I love this quote. Asimov stated that he couldn't write silence. He said, "What I do is chisel a statue down to its finest, most elusive details. What a film director does is make the statue move."
Oh my god.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
But I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, because you really can't write silence. Like, that's what makes movies so great, is because you can see, like, awkward silences between people. I mean, it's one thing to read, there was an awkward silence, and then there's another thing to actually see it and kind of feel it, too. So, that's such a good point.
And, like, the way he fills Elio's head with all of those thoughts, like, constant just...
Yeah, like obsessive thoughts.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, I just have a quick thing I'm just going to read. I began on April 7th, 2007. He wrote the entire book in like 4 months. He said it was the fastest he's ever written anything.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he said that it was started in April, and by July he was already going over the manuscript. He said, "For me, the hardest part is getting the plot right. Once this is taken care of, the rest is easy."
I can see plot's the hardest thing.
Yeah, it was in an interview with Bookslut. Is like, I guess, a blog, Bookslut, and so she responded and said, "Do you always write that fast?" He said, "No, I seldom write that fast. It could take me 2 months to write a 10-page essay."
She's gonna poop.
Wouldn't that be amazing? A sound.
Oh, it didn't. She didn't do it.
Bye.
She was knocked out on the couch behind us, and
we're talking too much. She's like, "Bye, bitch." I'm gonna lay down.
You're interrupting me.
So he said it could take me 2 months to write a 10-page essay, but maybe because this was different, or because I wasn't taking it too seriously, or maybe because it felt so contemporary, to me at least, and never classical enough, because it felt so slangy, so down to earth, each sentence wrote itself on my screen in no time. I was writing fast, very fast, the way you might write an email or letter or journal entry. I was writing as if questions of style and form weren't even being addressed, which I can totally tell in the book. I thought about that. And I even said I think he writes a little bit like Hemingway, like a modern day. I was writing for myself, for the fun of it, because no one was ever going to read it. Or maybe it's just that I was writing because I was having a ball, having a crush on someone, or watching two individuals fall in love with one another, or simply living in Italy for 4 months by the beach was so spectacular that perhaps I also fell in love with the act of writing itself. I couldn't wait to be done with dinner to get back to my computer.
Oh my god, I could throw up. That is so beautiful.
I know.
And I think how he was talking about, like, watching two people fall in love and stuff, whenever it talks about, like, all of Elio's, like, inner thoughts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's so applicable to everyone. Just like reading like this struggle where you want to talk to the person, you want them to know how much you like them, but you don't want to like jeopardize that. And especially in his situation, it's just so interesting and so easy to read and to write about, and it's just like I feel like something everybody goes through. So I don't know.
Amen.
It's just I could see how it could just like pour out of you, especially if you're as well taught as Andre Asman.
Well versed.
I
know, it kind of pissed me off though. I was like, oh, I just sat down and wrote an email kind of thing. I'm like, no, like
it took me like 2 days to write an email.
Literally.
Like
literally
a professional email.
Okay, great. So that's all I have to say about the author and the book.
Okay.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the director and the film,
all right.
Alex.
So I probably have too much information on it yet again.
That's okay. Better more information than less.
Yeah. I'll cut out whatever's not significant. All right, so Call Me By Your Name. It was released last year, 2017. Mm-hmm. Directed by, I should have looked up how to say his last name. I'm going to butcher it.
Luca
Guadagnino?
Guadagnino?
See, I should have looked it up.
Let's
I feel like an asshole.
Luca.
They all call him Luca. Luca. So,
okay.
Luca. Luca was born August 10th, 1971, so he's 47 years old. He's pretty young.
Not 69.
Yeah, 80. He's an Italian director, writer, producer. He's known for I Am Love, A Bigger Splash, The Protagonists. I don't know any of those, but they all have Tilda Swinton in them, which is a fun fact. Tilda Swinton, she's a badass. She was you saw Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
She's the bald headmaster lady.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's a badass.
She's really cool. She's a great actress.
Okay.
But he was born in Palermo, Italy. Palermo, Italy. He spent his early childhood in Ethiopia, where his father taught history and Italian.
Of course. Yeah,
great subjects. He studied literature at the University of how do you say it? Palermo.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm so white.
No. I only know that because I think I've heard it like a lot.
Okay, and he graduated from Sapienza University of Rome. Sapienza.
Sounds about right.
In the Faculty of History and Critics of Cinema with a thesis on the American filmmaker Jonathan Demme.
Jesus Christ.
It was written by James Ivory, and I wanted to bring in the writer too because he had a big role in like making this movie happen. James Ivory was born June 7th, 1928, which makes him 90 years old. He is an old, like has seen some shit. Yeah.
Huh.
He's an American director, producer, and screenwriter. He's known for The Remains of the Day, A Room with a View, and Howard's End.
A Room with a View? That's another Italian movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but A Room with a View is the only one that rang a bell. Let's see. Upon winning the Oscar for this movie for Best Adapted Screenplay, which it so deserved,
right,
and BAFTA for this movie at the age of 89, Ivory became the oldest ever winner in any category for both of those awards, which is cool.
That's so cool.
He was born in Berkeley, California, and grew up in Klamath Falls, Oregon, where he attended the University of Oregon and received a degree in fine arts in 1951, which is crazy.
Literally when What's-His-Face was born. 1951 is when Asiman was born.
Wow.
He was like, while you were in the cradle, I was earning PhDs.
Before the story even came to fruition.
He was killing it.
Yeah, he was killing it. He then attended the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts, and that's where he began writing, photographing, and producing short films. That was the beginning of his career. So this movie stars Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet.
Amen.
I have a little bit about them. Armie Hammer was born August 28th, 1986, so he's 32. He's an American actor known for The Social Network. He plays the two twins, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and The Lone Ranger, and he's 6'5".
I saw a picture. He's tall.
He's tall.
Give.
Yeah, okay, so that's all I have about him. I have a little bit more about Timothée.
And he's 6'5". He's all his accomplishments, and he's 6'5". That's an accomplishment.
It's just really important.
Yeah, no, it is.
So I have more about Timothée Chalamet just because this kid amazes me. Timothy Chalamet plays Elio. Armie Hammer plays Oliver. Timothy Chalamet was born December 27th, 1995. He's
oh my god,
22.
he's younger than I am.
He's literally my age, and that like makes me want to scream. Like he is just so beyond his years. He's so talented. It's ridiculous. He's an American actor. He's known for Lady Bird, Interstellar, and Hostels, all of which came out right before Call Me by Your Name. This was probably one of his first lead roles, I want to say. Definitely what like got him the recognition he deserves to like go on and be super successful.
He did in Lady Bird. I never saw that movie, but
oh really? Oh my god, we need to watch that. He was a minor character. He's like kind of like a romantic interest of hers. He's in a band. He's kind of an asshole, but oh, he's so cute. He's 6 foot. He was nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards for Call Me by Your Name, making him the 3rd youngest nominee ever in the category.
Wow.
Yeah,
well deserved. Who the first is?
It was the kid from Room with Brie Larson.
I've never seen it.
She was like abducted as like a teenager, I want to say, and she was kept in like this shed and like raped and like just like for years and years and years, and it became like her normal life. She got pregnant with this kid, and this kid, it's about the life this kid has growing up in this room.
Oh. And
that kid was nominated for an Oscar. I can't remember if he won. But I haven't seen it. It's really heavy, but it's apparently phenomenal.
Wow.
This is funny. So this is just like, he's so well taught too, which it makes sense that he's such a good actor now. But his sister is a French actress, and she does movies in France. His uncle's a filmmaker, his aunt's a TV writer and producer, his grandfather was a screenwriter, his grandmother is a former Broadway dancer. So like there's no way, there's no way he wasn't gonna be in this business.
Wow.
He spent his summers in his grandfather's French village. I didn't write down the name just because I was gonna completely butcher it. But he stated his time in France led him to a cross-cultural identity. Like, he had cross-cultural identity issues. There's a quote from him that says, "Once I was there, I became the French version of myself. I was completely imbued with the culture, and I even dreamed in French." But I mean, like, how nice is that? Just, like, you spend your summers in France. Like, gosh.
Whenever I do, like, well, not whenever, but, like, I've asked a person that's, like, trilingual, I'm like, what language do you dream in? And he said he will dream in, like, different languages. Like,
that is so amazing.
Like, sometimes he'll dream in Arabic, sometimes in Spanish. It's like...
Wow.
Okay.
That's so cool.
I know.
Yeah, see, I like, can't even dream in proper English.
It's just blah, 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 blah.
So a little bit of his schooling, he, like, had pretty normal, like, elementary, middle school. But when he was accepted into his high school of music and art, and performing arts, it was a turning point for his appreciation for acting. His sophomore year drama teacher at LaGuardia was so impressed by his audition, because like for those performance art schools you have to like audition to get in, that he insisted on Chalamet's acceptance into the school, even though he had been rejected in the interview. The teacher had said, "I gave him the highest score I've ever given a kid auditioning." He graduated in 2013 and attended Columbia University for 1 year, majoring in cultural anthropology. And he later transferred to New York University's Gallatin School of Individualized Study to pursue his acting career more freely.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, so he's just had it, like, made, like, which is, you know, great. Like, that's awesome. But that just, like, goes to show why he's such a good actor so young.
And that's such, like, a freshman major, too. Cultural.
Yeah.
Like,
I like how he was a little bit practical there at first, but they're like, nah.
Individualized study. A school for individualized study.
So, enough about Timothy Chalamet. I'll tell you some facts about the movie. It won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay last year. Well deserved. I think it should have won a cinematography award, but that's none of my business. Production started May 11th, 2016 in Crema, Italy, and was completed on June 20th, 2016, which is so cool. It was, like, shot in just a little over a month, which I feel like is a short period of time to do a feature-length film.
Oh, and it's, like, the same time that this book takes.
Yeah, over the summer.
Like a little bit over a month.
Yeah, so the film was also filmed largely in chronological order, which I really like. Like, as an actor, I feel like that helps you just, like, because you're going by the story, because most often it's by, like, what's, like, place you can, like, film first and, like, what you need to film there, and you go ahead and get it all out of the way, and it's not always chronological. So you have to, like, put your headspace in, like, different parts, but I feel like that makes it so easy for them to just, like,
I've always been curious
have a natural
about that.
performance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So James Ivory is the writer. He was originally brought on as an executive producer, and he was going to co-direct with Luca, insisting that if he was going to co-direct, he would what he wanted to use his screenplay. Like, he wanted to write the screenplay himself. So he spent 9 months writing the screenplay, and that gave it, like, the momentum to raise enough, like, money to make the film. And they didn't name the French financier who, like, they were talking about, but when the French financier was brought on, he thought it would be awkward to have 2 directors working together, so Ivory sold the rights to Luca's film company, who also helped produce the film. So it was just Luca who directed it.
Huh.
On its premiere night, Call Me By Your Name received a 10-minute standing ovation, which was the longest standing ovation ever at the New York Film Festival. Oh. I know, I love that. Like, I would clap for hours.
Yeah.
The Luca told The Hollywood Reporter that he was not interested in including explicit sex scenes in the film, which we're going to get into, because the tone would have been very different from what he was looking for. He wanted the audience to completely rely on the emotional travel of these people and feel first love. He did not want the audience to find any difference or discrimination towards these characters, which is so, I love it. Like, because that's what I've heard from people, is, like, they weren't even thinking about, you know, it's 2 men. Like, they're just like, this is, like, a story of love. Right. And it is.
Yeah, beautiful.
James Ivory, the writer, said that both Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet had it written into their contracts that they would not have to do full frontal nudity, even though Ivory's original screenplay stipulated that both characters would appear fully nude. I'm a little disappointed, but...
Yeah, that's a shame.
He said he was a little aggravated by it. There's a quote by him that says, "I think it's kind of a pity. It's just this American attitude. Nobody seems to care that much or be shocked about a totally naked woman. It's the men. This is something that must be so deeply cultural that one should ask why."
Didn't we kind of mention that in American Psycho?
Yeah, just how, like, nudity is so, like...
frowned upon.
Yeah. Especially with men, you know? Like, you see, like, women's boobs all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure you see Marzia's boobs.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do, because I remember thinking, I wonder how old she really is. She would have had to have been older than 18, right?
I'm sure.
Isn't it if someone, if like, there is a nudity scene and they're under 18, doesn't their parent have to be there? Like,
any child actor under 18 has to have a parent or guardian on set.
Naked or not?
Yeah.
Really?
I wonder how the nudity thing would work with that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. God, I'm talking so much.
No, you're not.
This was just interesting because I'm sure... every time I say the word interesting, I'm smacking myself with a hairband because I didn't even count how many times I said it last podcast, but...
It was like 84.
Yeah, no, probably.
I said absolutely about 45 times.
And we're not going to do it.
And we were supposed to have microphones, just side note.
Yeah, we're recording on a laptop again.
They got held up by Florence, so hopefully we'll get those back soon.
We'll have them next time.
A little flow.
Okay, just a few more things. Oh, I don't know if there was a lot of controversy around this just because it's such, like, a independent movie, I guess. But despite considering casting gay actors, which, you know, there's, like, a lot of stuff, like, around, like, if it's a gay character or, like, a trans character, it should be, like, a gay or trans actor or, like, a special needs, like, you know. So I wonder how much, like, controversy it caused. But despite considering casting gay actors, Luca cast what he felt were the best actors for his roles and ended up with 2 straight actors in the lead roles, whereas Luca and James Ivory are both openly gay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And another cool fact, Luca doesn't audition his actors. He, I can't remember what Timothée Chalamet said. After I watched this the first time, I watched, like, a million interviews. But it was something about, like, Timothée Chalamet got brought onto this project when he was, like, 17, I want to say. It was a long time coming. But, yeah, he wasn't auditioned or anything. Neither was, like, Armie Hammer. I think he just does it by, like, reputation or, you know, he just, like, has a conversation with the, like, actor, and that's when he decides. Which is cool, but also, like, a big leap of faith. Oh, okay. In various interviews, both Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer told the press that the atmosphere shown in the movie is the exact same feeling they had about being in Crema, While in Italy, most people like to work for 8 hours and then get the night off. They spent their free time together having espressos, going to dinner at restaurants, hanging out in their hotel rooms, watching movies, and listening to music together. And they became very close, but that's like so just like what they did in the movie and in the book.
Wow. I wonder if they had sex too.
I hope.
Low key.
And finally, after this whole freaking spiel, according to Luca, the decision to go away from the retrospective aspect of the book was made because he wanted to focus on the essence. He wanted the audience to immerse themselves in these characters and not have the story to be driven by the consciousness of a third party or the narrator in another position in time. He wanted the audience to grow with them. Which is cool because in the book, like, I mean, I'd seen the movie first, so I knew how it was going to end. Mm-hmm. But in the book, the way that he talked, like this is how it was.
Like,
and
looking back on
these
it,
were, like, the last times I did this or that. Like, you know it's not going to end, like, the way you want it to.
Yeah, okay, so I have a couple things to say about the film, too, that I just found.
Okay.
Did you know that Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be in the movie? I don't know who he was supposed to play. They didn't say. But they actually ended up, just before they, like, hired him, they, like, kicked him off because he was starting to kind of, like, well, I mean, he had that reputation of being kind of, like, hard to work with and kind of, like, off his rocker. So.
Wow, I don't know. He could have been, I don't know.
Yeah, and then I think it was Luca. I didn't double check, so I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but somebody, I think Luca, wanted Sufjan Stevens to narrate the film.
Oh, I read that, too.
I would have totally went for that, because in the Sufjan Stevens song, it's like that.
Yeah, he did 2 songs, I think, for the movie.
How cute is that? So then
that would have been weird with a narrator.
Yeah. Well, I have something to say about that.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Okay, so I read an article, and this, like, excuse me, this, like, goes by pretty much everything you just said, but it's the complete opposite. So there's this article called Call Me By Your Name Is Not a Gay Movie. Did you read that one?
No.
So it's called Call Me By Your Name Is Not a Gay Movie by Slate.com, which I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, it was probably written by somebody that is gay and that can speak from that.
Uh-huh.
But I'll just read just a little bit. It says, this is directly quoting the article. To repeat, this is strange. Why has Call Me By Your Name attained such an iconic gay, in quotations, status when it is anything but, when its main characters seem almost aggressively isolated from gay culture or politics, when its precocious protagonist has to be reminded that it's gauche to make fun of people who are openly gay? Here's one theory. Perhaps we gay boys have fallen... Okay, we gay boys, so it's obviously a gay man. We gay boys have fallen for this ungay romance because it is so straight. If gays love anything, it's chasing after straight guys. The straightness is everywhere once you clear the lust from your eyes. The book was penned by a straight author who says he has never had a gay relationship in his life. Tells the story of apparently 2 heteroflexible... That's a good word.
Heteroflexible.
We were trying to figure out a word earlier for them. Heteroflexible, I guess. When sexually fluid.
Yeah.
But largely hetero-leaning men who seem to experiment with same-sex only furtively in their lives. The film is even straighter. Its leading lovers are played by straight actors, remember you just talked about that, who have been winking and giggling off on the press circuit about having, about having to pretend to, in parentheses, sort of fuck. Indeed, all gay sex takes place off screen. Only boy-girl or boy-fruit sex happens within the frame. And then the only openly gay characters, a pair of boyfriend-twinned academics who visit Elio's parents for dinner, are portrayed as this ridiculous Tweedledee and Tweedledum types. And did you know that Andre Aciman actually makes an appearance? He's one of the gay.
Yeah.
He's one of the couple. Like he's one.
Oh, I didn't know. I saw his character's name, but I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, Sonny and Cher couple. He is one of them.
Yeah. Well, okay, but you also have to think about, I mean, I'm sure they thought about it, but the time period, it was the 80s, and, like, it was not nearly as, like, as accepting, and like, nobody, I mean, I'm sure some people felt safe enough to, like, be openly gay back then. But,
yeah, but
still, it was such a taboo thing at the time.
And they're in a different country.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, they're
physically
younger. Isolated from all of that.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Because I don't think there was any gay nightclubs in B.
No. Yeah. And
Not
B,
that I knew.
Yeah, that's another thing to talk about. How it doesn't specifically give, like, a setting. It just says the city of B.
Any town in Italy.
And in the movie, it starts out somewhere in Italy. Like, it doesn't say a specific town.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's like it's a point, like a good point. But I also when you talked about like how he kind of wanted to focus less on sex and more on feelings, and maybe the only reason he showed the sex scene with Marzia was because that's what it purely was, just sex. I mean, he like kind of cared about her, but.
In the book, he was, like, totally, like, indifferent.
And I think it was also a good point that he said it may have, I don't know, brought up some bias for some viewers. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, they may not seem like they would be biased, and maybe they see, like, a sex scene and they're just, like, slightly, they may not even admit it to themselves. We're like, oh, that's, like, weird. But they'll see a straight sex scene and they're like, cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I thought was so great about the movie, because I watched it with my mom, who's totally a loving, accepting woman. But, you know, she's, like, a straight older lady. Right. And when we had finished it, like, her and I just, like, talked about it for so long, and she was saying, like, you know, like, I can't remember exactly what she was saying, but it was something along the lines of, like, to her, like, she's never thought about a gay relationship, like, being exactly the same as anything else, you know, like that. Sure. Like, she's just never, like, thought about it, and, like,
she hasn't had to, really.
Yeah. But, like, I thought that was cool, because it's like, yeah, like, everybody feels the same things, like, you know, and I just thought that was really cool, and I thought because of that, it, like, brought it to a wider audience. Yeah,
I definitely think that he brought up some good points, and I think this Slate article, this is just kind of a tangent, but I just think this Slate article is just it's a little bit harsh. I mean, that's what reviews are supposed to be. They're supposed to be kind of harsh. But Astiman even talks about, he is, you know, straight and may not have had ever, you know, a gay relationship openly.
I was going to ask. I didn't know if he was straight or gay.
Yeah, he's married with 2 kids. And I think he identifies as straight. But I think the whole point of this book was kind of talking about how maybe you can't be exactly who you want to be. You know, maybe there's, like, circumstances, whether it be the time that you are, like the time period you are, or where you are, who you're surrounded by, or whatever, you know, that maybe that kind of stuff just can't happen for you, even though you totally would be open to it, or would think about it, you know. So, I think they were a little bit harsh on him, but, and I don't particularly think that, I don't think it was a gay movie, quote unquote, and I think it was more of a, like you said, it was more of a love story. It wasn't like just a story about, like...
And I loved that, too, because it didn't harp on, like, oh, like, two men, this is gay, like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, it was just, like, this is a story about 2 people falling in love. Like, it didn't use that as, like, leverage to, like, promote it or anything. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that.
No, I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. Because you mean when you have a straight movie, you don't push, oh, look at this beautiful straight movie, like, man,
and woman. I love it. In a way, it kind of is just, like, it's normal. It's like anything else.
And I think it celebrated, I love that hetero flexible. I think it celebrated that, like, being flexible and fluid in your sexuality, and also celebrated homosexuality. I hate that word, homosexuality. It's been used in, like, such a weird context recently. But, like, being gay is, I mean, it, like, had both angles to it, I think. And we always say, gender, sexuality, in our opinion, or at least I'm speaking for myself, is on a spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like... You have to celebrate the spectrum, I guess, question mark. So, yeah.
Celebrate the spectrum.
Amen. All right, now let's talk about the movie and the book. Let's do what the bitches do best.
Yes.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Tonight we don't have wine, by the way. We're chugging,
sober as fuck.
We're chugging water because these last few days of, like, getting home and cleaning up and everything has just, like...
Our lives have just been
so dehydrated.
Show. Yeah. We didn't even know there was a hurricane coming until about a day before.
Yep.
it was...
Thanks to our lovely neighbor.
They were like, oh, here comes the Category 5 hurricane. We're like, really?
Oh, maybe we should look into that.
We should probably pack up. But if anyone even gives a shit, our house was pretty much okay.
Yeah,
we got
some
a little bit
water
of damage. Some, like, little structural things,
our doors are, like, swollen shut, so we're, like, locked in, basically.
Nothing the bitches can't handle.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're actually following sort of an outline.
We're going to try.
We're going to try. And I think trying, that's what matters most.
It gets better every time.
Yeah, babe, that's so true. Okay. So, the first thing we can talk about is the scholarly main characters and age difference.
Yes.
Which I read, I can't remember, it might have been in that, it was either in that Bookclub or the Slate article. But they talked about how it was kind of unrelatable in that respect, like, because they were, like, talking about scholarly things, like...
Oh, I thought it was so cool, though. Like, I wish
it was, like,
I had...
being back in school or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, they talked about, like... in the book, they talked about all these different classical pieces, all these different classical books. They talked about Dante.
He was
a lot.
translating. What was it?
Like he was.
Oh, I have the name.
He was translating like in it. Was it?
I have it. It's in one of my quotes. Heraclitus.
Oh God! If I hear that name one more time, that name was brought up so much in the.
Yeah.
There's that, and then. Elio is
he's
like
writing
17 at the time.
music.
Yeah, he's composing music, and then he's also taking. Like, music that's already existing and putting his own spin on it, or putting other spins on it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is how this would have been if Bob played it. Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right.
That's so fascinating. And you know there's got to be people out there like that.
Oh, yeah.
That are just like...
Everyone, I feel like. And Alex and I are sitting here watching Workaholics. Can you pass me the chips?
Oh, God.
Do you think this mayo's gone bad?
Oh my God, I just laughed like directly into the computer.
Oh my God, that was loud. God.
Okay.
It's our
Yeah.
fault.
We're working on it.
The age difference, which I think was a kind of another reason that maybe they weren't able to be so open about it, is he was a guest in like his parents' house. He probably didn't want to offend them. He probably didn't know how Elio's dad and mom thought about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're scholarly people, so it's usually falls in line with more left side of thinking.
And just like so in the book, Elio's 17 and Oliver's 24, and when they filmed it, Timothée Chalamet was 20 and Armie Hammer was 29.
That's perfect.
And the age for consent in Italy is 14, apparently.
I think it is here too. 16.
16, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so like it was 7 years difference, and it was 9 years difference like with the two actors.
Right.
So yeah, so it was, but yeah, I mean age difference. Age is nothing but a number. But
are you sure? Are you sure?
Age is nothing but a number. But when it's younger, it's a little bit weirder, just because like you're in such different points in your life when you're in high school and when you're like a grad student, you know, like there's so much you experience in those 4 years of college where you mature like crazy, I feel like. But then if it's like Elio's 24 and Oliver's 31, I'm like, yeah, like not a big deal. But yeah, so the age difference I definitely think was a bit of a hindrance, I guess, and both of them wanting to pursue one another, because like you said, Oliver doesn't know if it's wrong. And Elio's probably, I can't remember if he ever said it, but he probably feels like a child, you know?
He's fucking a peach.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're both old souls, too, which is probably why they can connect so well, you know?
And they have such a common ground with all these, like, intelligent things that they're doing.
So speaking of common ground, this is a nice segue. Let's talk about Judaism.
Judaism,
so
okay.
Both of the characters are Jewish.
Yes.
Armie Hammer's character, Oliver, is a little bit more openly Jewish.
He wears his necklace around.
He wears the Star of David around his neck all the time, like just hanging out. And
in the town of B, they're not anti-Semites by any means, but it's not like, I don't, it's Judaism isn't like the religion around that town.
Yeah.
And so... Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so Elio, he describes it, and his mother says that they're Jews of discretion.
Jews of discretion.
And whenever he sees Army Hammer...
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? I'm not fucking doing this shit, Alex. I'm not doing this. I really can't.
It's okay. We just got home. It's, you know.
I don't know, if you didn't listen to the first episode, stop right here, go listen to that, and then come back. But we talk about how we do have a haunted house. I'm like whispering now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a haunted house. It's a house that may or may not.
Yeah, has spirits, has a spirit, you know. It has a presence in it.
A presence. That's a good one. I like that.
And it's a nice presence. We coexist with it. We talk about how
I hope it was okay
here before us.
Did you hear that?
No. It sounded like a car door.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard. It's people outside.
It's people.
We live downtown in a city, so. All right.
Every
what were we even talking about?
Juice of discretion.
Oh, and how when Oliver shows up with his necklace out, Elio's like, "Oh my god, like he how is he so confident in that?" Like,
and then he starts wearing his necklace.
Yeah.
But in the film, he wears the necklace the entire time, and in the book, he tucks it away. Like, he says he tries to wear it out once and gets embarrassed, and then just tucks it underneath his shirt.
In the movie, I don't remember him wearing it out, but like towards maybe halfway through.
Yeah, I don't know. He did end up wearing it out a lot more in the film than he did in the movie, which is something I wasn't. I mean, I don't think it really means anything. Maybe it was just trying to emphasize it more.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the only tough thing about movies, and we talked about the last time, is you can't narrate movies without being cheesy sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like this is a movie that would have really benefited from narration. Especially if it was Swift John Stevens' voice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it would have benefited from narration if it was done correctly, which is like 1 out of 100 can do it. I don't know. Because the whole book was in Elio's head so deeply that I feel like it's like, well.
Okay, and that's what we need to talk about too, is, so I guess, okay, we might as well, because did you have anything else to say about, like, the Judaism?
Nah, not really.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. I mean,
if you think of anything,
we'll come back to it.
Okay, but so you read the book and then saw the movie, and I had seen the movie and then read the book. Mm-hmm. So in the movie, at least, and I don't know what your take on it was, but the first time I watched the movie, I had an idea of what the premise was. Like, I knew it was these two men that were gonna fall in love, but the first time I watched the movie, the impression I got was that Elio, like, the whole time, up until where he starts showing, like affection towards Oliver, that, like, he had never, like, had those feelings before.
Exactly.
But then in the book, it talks about how, like, the first time he ever felt that way was in Rome when, it was, like, a delivery boy or something.
On, like, a bicycle.
And put his arm around him, and that was, like, the first time it, like, stirred something up in him.
Yeah.
But so the second time watching the movie... And, like, from the get-go in the book, he's totally infatuated with
Like, as soon as he gets out of the car, almost.
Yeah. But in the movie, I had no idea. Like, up until, like, he, like, smells, he, like, puts his, like, swimsuit over his head and stuff.
That's what Izzy does with my underwear.
Yeah.
She's just sleeping. The poor baby. She has no idea.
But so, yeah, in the movie, I had no idea that he had those feelings up until when he starts showing that he's having those feelings.
Yeah, it just looks like some guys that might be interested in one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a note of that I don't think that the film showed the obsession nearly as much.
Obsession. It was such an obsession, too.
And I mean, and Elio seemed more confident in the movie than he was in the book.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know if maybe that's because Timothy Chalamet maybe has, like, a more confident air about him.
He totally does.
He totally does. It's so freaking cute. But, yeah, it was definitely, that's what I'm saying, narration, if it was done correctly, but I think it would have to be done by a completely different director.
Yeah.
Written differently. It would have been a whole different film. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that would make it worse or better, more likely to make it worse, but, because, yeah, you're right.
But for people who, like, haven't read the book, just literally that obsession he has from the very beginning, from page 1, like,
yeah.
I can't even snap. My hands are so dry.
I have lotion all over my hands. I just sound like, wait, I snap? You snap so beautifully. It's because my fingers are so fat.
I remember the first time I learned how to snap, I couldn't do it. I was getting so angry because my brother could do it. And then one day, like, I just have, like, a vivid memory of me walking around my parents' kitchen table and I was snapping. And my mom was like, oh, and I was like, oh. And now I snap all the time.
Now I'm going to practice.
But yeah, anyway, for, like, people.
Absolutely obsessed with him. I mean, he was talking about how he, like, loved the bottom of his feet, basically, untouched.
I think that was one of my quotes.
Yeah, and he, like, just was literally obsessed. I mean, that was
it was so beautiful, and it was, like, I think I had to put it down so many times because the writing was so beautiful. Stop looking over there.
I must have caught, like, a piece of my hair or something.
Yeah.
I just, like...
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. But then, like, it, like, hurt my heart because, like, just, like, feeling that way towards, like, somebody and, like, not, like, acting on it and not, like, just being so unsure. It just, like, hurts.
Pisces.
It hurts. I'm a Pisces. I'm full of emotion. I don't do anything with it. But, yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that thought. I just, like, had to talk about that. Like, it physically, like, you were talking about, too. Like, you could physically feel your heart hurting.
My heart hurt when
like, your chest. Like, oh, God.
When he talks about, I actually have a quote. God damn it. Let me go get my book. Here we go. This is just an example. Mm-hmm. Life still granted wonderful moments. Italy. Summer. The noise of cicadas in the early afternoon. My room. His room. Our balcony that shut the whole world out. The soft wind trailing exhalations from our garden upstairs to my bedroom. The summer I learned to love fishing because he did. To learn to love jogging because he did. To love octopus, Heraclitus, Tristan. The summer I'd hear a bird sing, smell a plant, or feel the mist rise from under my feet on a warm sunny day. And because my senses were always on alert, would automatically find them rushing to him.
Oh my God.
I longed to touch his knees and wrists where they glistened in the sun with that viscous, Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. Viscous, not vicious. In the sun with that viscous sheen that I've seen in so very few. I loved his white tennis shorts, blah, blah, blah. He just keeps going on. He keeps going about his billowy blue shirt.
Billowy.
God love billowy. And also, that's just a side note thing, is they didn't have a balcony in the movie, which I liked the whole, like, mundaneness of the bathroom. That's literally what they share. Because, so in the book, they share a balcony. Mm-hmm. Their rooms, Oliver is staying in Elio's current room, and Elio is staying in the guest room, because that's what they do. He's just there. Oliver is visiting for the summer to help his dad translate. And every summer...
Elio's dad is a professor, and he has grad students come in for 6 weeks. And this summer, it was Oliver. And so they share a balcony, but in the movie they share a bathroom. They share a bathroom in the book, too. Right. But in the movie it's like their balcony kind of thing. Yeah. And the balcony is like where they meet, and like where, all this stuff kind of like transpires. That's not in a bedroom. So... That's all I have for wherever the fuck that tangent went to. Yeah. Just talking about my heart hurting. Oh yeah, just the feeling of being in love. I actually wrote that down. I put page 14, which is what I just wrote. What I just read. Okay. Oh wait, I had page 14 marked as a quote too. I don't know if it was the same one. It probably was. It said, amazing description of what it's like to be in love for the first time. Because reading it reminded me of being in, like, high school and, like, really, like, one of the times I think was, like, the first time I was ever in love with someone. Like, just that burning, like, feeling where you're, like, I'm so uncomfortable, but so happy, but so weirded out. What is this? Yeah. You know? So it was is nice to read. Is that what love feels like? No, love feels like a fucking thorn in your side. Okay, that leads us into the first sex scene. Yes! Talk about the first sex scene. Oh, it was so sensual. It was sensual. Oh, God, I'm, like, sweating. I actually have it marked down in my notes as, yes, okay, because this was beautiful. So I loved how it was initiated by him writing that note, which is also in the movie, where he's like, it kills me that we're not talking. And Oliver says, like, you're being a child, I'll see you at midnight. And then that day, he's, like, checking his watch. He has sex with Marzia in the movie that day. Yeah. But, like, right before he puts his watch down, right before they have sex, you can see him check it. So you know that, like, that's what he's thinking about. That's what he's looking forward to. He's like, I'll fuck Marzia in the meantime. Yeah. But this is what I really want to go to. And, like, in the book, he's, like, just, like, preoccupying himself all day, so he's, like, not thinking about it, and then finally it's time, and he's like,
like, thank God.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time.
Okay.
That, it kind of pissed me off. Not that it took them so long to have sex, but it took them so long to even kind of, like, because I'm one of those people, I'm, like, straight away, I'm like, well, I guess it depends, but, like, this whole playing around the bush, like, it kills me.
That's me. I'm a Pisces.
I'm, like, looking at her with wide eyes.
She's a Libra.
I'm just a flirt.
No,
who's afraid of commitment.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is getting too real now. This is,
I know. This book was, like, really making me question my life.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it. I have a quote that I want to... Yeah. Anyway.
So, yeah, first sex scene. Great stuff. I mean, there's really not much you can say about it other than it's, like, finally, like, everything's built up to this moment.
Yeah. And it is uncomfortable for Elio. He talks about, like... I mean, we don't need to be candid here. We talked about, like, a rat in a woman's vagina in the last episode.
Yeah.
But, like, the anal sex and stuff, like, he was uncomfortable with it, and,
so he's not a bottom.
Yeah, so, and, like, Oliver, I think he asked him, he's like, are you okay? Do you want to continue? He was like, yeah. Because there was a quote, and I'm not going to be able to find it now, but he was, like, saying how, like, he wasn't sure about any of this, but he was sure that he wanted to experience it with Oliver, and... I can't remember what it was, but he wanted to, like, oh, God, I'm not going to be able to remember it now. It was such a good quote. Fuck, this is what I do. I have quotes, and then I don't mark them down, and then I forget about them. I'm not going to be able to find it, I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Well, I guess, I mean, really the biggest thing to be said is, like, how... disgusted Elio was with himself after they had
afterwards
sex.
Yeah,
it was really sad. So that's how I thought the book was gonna end. Like, I thought the book was literally gonna, because I mean they had sex, like,
it was about halfway through.
I would say it was like a decent way through.
Yeah.
And I was afraid. I was like, shit, like, is this really how it's gonna end? Like, it's somebody that has all these feelings pent up, and then they finally do it, and they're like, what the hell was that? Maybe not.
And worth it.
That's where it was gonna go. It was gonna turn into, like, Oliver being obsessed with Elio, and Elio just not wanting to have anything to do with them.
Oh, wouldn't that be a twist?
Right, or, like, parents find out or something. I don't know. So I thought that was where it was gonna end, and I got really sad. But then. So he's, like, really disgusted. He's hurting. His butt hurts.
He doesn't want to ride the bike because it hurts. But he rides it anyway. He goes into town because he has that just, like, innate feeling. He's, like, that's the day he goes into town. He's, like, I just wanted to be with you. Like, is that okay? He's, like, I'll go back. And, oh, that's when Oliver's, like, I could kiss you if I could. And they're, like, oh, my God. I'm, like, tearing up.
And then they go back, and Elio's, like, not... Well, I don't know. I guess this was before the town scene when Oliver gives Elio just, like, a quick blowjob. He's like, you weren't into it? And Oliver was like,
I can't remember.
And Elio was like, no, like, I'm good. And Oliver was like, okay. And, like, gives him, like,
a quick...
he
doesn't finish it, though.
Right. And Elio's like,
it's a little taste.
So I'm back on the boat. I got back on the wagon.
I can't remember where that... Oh, yeah, because they go swimming in the morning. And it's right after they go swimming because Oliver can sense that, like... Oliver's terrified that he's, like, ruined this person. Like...
This child, almost.
Yeah.
In a way. Like, young teenager.
But I love it. He, like, takes control and he's like, no, you know what? We're going to give it another go.
Like, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And it's probably well-founded, but... Just erase that, what I just said.
No,
I'm, like, something like, I know. I'm so tired. Okay, so the first sex scene. So, after they have sex, and then, you know, Elio gets around to, like, accepting it, and he's like, okay, cool, you know what? This is actually what I want. Elio fucks a peach.
Elio fucks a peach. Sex scene number 2.
So, we went to the grocery store today. There's been no produce because we literally have been...
We've been, like, a fucking island.
Like, nowhere to go, and nothing's been able to get into the city. So today we finally found produce, and Alex, of course, got peaches and apricots.
I've been craving them ever since this.
Oh, I'm sure.
But just, like, because I talk about them so much.
I love peaches. So I had just something quick to say about that. I found this symbolism.
So we want to know, though, for our viewers or our listeners, has anybody done it?
Okay, so Luca did it, and so did...
Yeah, oh my God, I was going to talk about that.
Timothy Chalamet.
Wait, I have a fun little... this is probably the same exact thing you read, but I wanted to read this. Regarding the peach scene, Luca went to Timothy Chalamet and told him that he had tried masturbating with a peach himself and that and found that it was indeed possible to do so. Therefore, he thought they should do the scene. Chalamet responded that he had also tried it and agreed to do the scene.
Wow.
But I love it. How far you go for your craft.
So I read this. It says in Chinese mythology, peaches are a symbol of longevity and immortality, frequently featured in Chinese art and fables. One such fable tells of an emperor who fell in love with a male courtesan, and kept their love affair a secret from his kingdom. One day, the courtesan, it doesn't have an I, it's not courtesan, picked a particularly sweet peach, and after one bite, gave the rest to the emperor. The emperor was so enamored by the gesture that he publicly declared his love for him. Ever since, the love between two men has been referred to the sharing of the peach in ancient Chinese culture.
Wow.
Among others. Isn't that beautiful?
And in the book, they really do share that peach.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So, and Luca actually talked about, he said he thought it was a little bit ridiculous to put, like, that scene in the film, and he wasn't going to do it until he fucked the peach himself.
Oh. What? You can't not put that in there, because that's
Well, he thought it was, like, just kind of, like, side.
Well, I thought it was so, like, I thought it was the way that he put it in there. He says that Elio looks at it and he sees both a butt and a vagina, which is funny because he's he's caught between Marzia and Oliver, you know, like he doesn't really know what he wants, but either way, it works for him. Yeah,
so then he jizzes in the peach, and then I keep wanting to call him Army. I love that name so much more than Oliver. I mean, Oliver's a cute name too.
Yeah.
So then Oliver walks in and he's like, oh, like
he's like, what is this?
What is it? What you do? And then he's like kind of embarrassed. He's like, no. And then Oliver takes a huge bite
in the book.
The jizz-filled peach.
He does.
And then Elio cries.
He cries because nobody has ever loved him the way that Oliver, like, who is gonna eat that, you know? Oh my god, that was such a sweet and sad moment because he's so vulnerable and he can't believe that this man, like would love him enough to eat this peach that he just, like, defiled. But in the movie, he doesn't eat the peach, which kind of sucks. He almost eats it, and then Elio, like, hits it away and still cries because I guess just the, like, insinuating that he's about to eat it is, like, the same thing.
They leave the jizz-filled peach on the desk.
Yeah.
And that's just a close-up of it, and then it goes to the next scene.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see, it looks like there's cum in there, but I don't know for sure. Oh, man.
I'd love to be art department on this movie.
Can we get a jizz-filled peach, please? That.
You're gonna need 2 on backup.
Oh my god, that's disgusting. But also great. So, I'm just trying not to, like,
We're doing good with this outline.
We are. Like, we're really on track.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I guess, can lead to, Rome. That's the end, though. Do we want to talk about that? I mean, I don't really have... Well, it was going to be the Rome actual ending, and then our whole overarching theme of their dismissiveness of their fluidity.
I want to talk about Marzia, too.
Okay, I don't really have anything to say about her, so you go.
Well, it just, like, broke my heart because it happened in the book and in the movie, but she says, like, are you going to hurt me? Like, I feel like you don't, like, feel the same way. And in the movie, they start off dating, but in the book, it's kind of, like, a little bit, like, unofficial.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's so torn, he doesn't want to hurt her, and he's so confused and doesn't want to, like, jeopardize his normalcy, I guess. I don't know, I just felt bad for her.
Comfort zone, too.
Well, okay, and so... Oh, I don't even know how to begin this. Okay, so I think Marzia...
I heard something else.
I think they have to be home downstairs.
Wait, let me just...
We keep hearing noises downstairs, and it's dark outside, so we don't know if our neighbors have gotten home. They've been displaced as well. Haley's checking to see if their cars are out there, because we keep hearing shit.
No.
It could be disguised behind, like, all the mounds of trees and stuff on the side of the road.
Should we text them not to go home?
I guess. I don't know.
Wait, do you want to save that?
Well, I'll finish my thought on Marzia.
Okay.
So, in the book, she's kind of just, like, dropped off, you know? Like, there's no real, like, resolution with her. But what I love in the movie, and I'm so glad they did it, is when Elio's coming home from Rome, and he's so upset in the car when his mom goes into the store or whatever. And he sees Marzia in the, like, courtyard, and she comes up to him, and they say, like we're gonna be friends, like, friends forever. I feel like she knows. I feel like because he's so upset, and she, you know, like, there's no real context for her, but I feel like she, like, knows, and I feel like just, like, her being there and not being, like, pissed at him for, like, just completely, like, dropping her.
Yeah.
I feel like in a way that's so, like, helpful for Elio, you know? Just, like, to not have this person hate you because of, like, who you really are inside.
Yeah.
And I love that they did that in the movie. They didn't, it was not at all in the book, but I just really loved that moment.
And Marzia knows, we like, can infer. And then I can also guess that his mom and his dad, Elio's mom and dad, know too.
Yeah. But that's at the end.
Yeah. Well, even, like, somewhat in the movie, like...
in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, his mom, like, kind of, like, looks over, like... Even when they're, like, playing footsie, you can see he kind of, like, sits up and she kind of, like, looks over at him at the dinner table.
And she says something about how, like, Oliver really likes you, or, he likes you more than that. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess this can go into the obsession part. You can put this back in.
Okay.
But I had just this theory that the reason that Elio was so obsessed... Now, this is a theory, so... The reason Elio... part of the reason that Elio is so obsessed with Oliver... I think is because he idolizes him, because he is, like, a little bit older, but, like, old enough to relate to, you know, and he, like, thinks of Oliver as this, like, really intelligent, like, you know, he just looks up to him. Obviously, he's good looking, and he's attracted to that. But I think that his, what did I write down? I'm wondering, like, by him looking up to him, and it hit me when the necklace thing happened, when he was, like, he saw Oliver wearing his necklace, and he was like, wow, that's really cool. And he starts wearing his necklace, too.
I'm gonna wear mine, yeah.
Right, so, and he was, like, he was so admired that Oliver would have the gonads to go out and, like, wear the Star of David in the town and stuff. So he, like, looks up to him, I think, and I think that is kind of fueling the obsession a little bit. Because, I mean, you know, the people that you choose to like, or especially love, like, you, you admire them and almost aspire to be kind of like them, or aspire to be on the, like, parallel to them. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
You only pick people...
You want them to, like, I don't know.
You pick people that will elevate you. Yeah. And that you can elevate too. I mean, but just from his, like, I don't know, it was just, like, a theory I had.
Yeah.
That maybe because he is so young and
impressionable. No, I like that. And I mean...
such a confident, like, weird kind of American. He's like, wow, I could totally be like that.
Yeah. And, I mean, throughout the book, there's multiple times where it says, like, he wants to say and do things to get his attention and to make him, like, seem, like, more interesting.
Exactly.
And I think that's a quote I have, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he wears the necklace because maybe, like, he wants Oliver to, like, see him wearing the necklace, too. And that's, like, a common ground they have.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll wrap up this first part of Call Me By Your Name. We'll be back in less than a week on Friday the 28th with part 2 because we're getting this to you extra quick.
Hell yeah. Extra quick.
Special guest, possibly. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see.
Nothing is certain.
Florence has ruined everything. Yeah, so we'll see ya in 6 days, 5 days.
I'm gonna go fuck a peach.
And we're back. And we have microphones.
Yeah, we do. I wonder how much better we sound compared to what it was.
An interesting difference, and you guys are gonna find out because we recorded the episode without the microphones already.
The best $30 we ever spent.
I'm, like, looking into the microphone like I'm talking to someone.
It's like
I'm not looking at you anymore. I'm, like, staring at it. I'm going to paint an eyeball on top of mine.
Cute. That's really cute. That's a great idea.
We were just talking about decorating our microphones. All right, yeah, so we're just going to pick right back up where we left off. This episode's going to be short and sweet.
And to the point.
Yeah. All right, so... Are we up to Rome now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. God. Rome. I think that was my favorite part of the book.
Really?
I think so. Well, in the movie, at least. Yeah. In the book, it kind of drags on. Because in the book, they go to, like, a book, like a poetry reading and stuff, which is really beautiful. But that kind of goes on for a while. They have a whole evening of, like, drinking and going and eating and drinking and drinking. And in the movie, it just starts with them being drunk at the end of that night.
Right.
I just thought it was so beautiful when they kiss in the alleyway.
In the dark. Oh,
yeah. And they're just totally free to kiss in public.
Because no one knows
Nobody knows who they are.
Yeah,
and
because Bee's such a small village kind of town, it seems like.
Yeah, so Rome. So the end of Oliver's stay. Oh, okay, so Oliver's there for 6 weeks, and none of this happens till, like, the final 2 weeks, basically.
Which
2.5 weeks, yeah. And so at the end of his time with their family, Oliver goes to Rome for a few days, and he brings Elio with him. And his parents are the ones that are like, you should go with him.
Yeah, that suggested, which I think means his parents kind of knew. It was like their kind of goodbye present to him.
And I loved how, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but how his father, like, booked the nicest hotel in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like they got this, like, pampered lifestyle for, like, just a few days together.
Honestly, okay, so we've been on a sabbatical for the past 2 weeks. And honestly, I'm sitting there in my parents' hammock in their backyard, like, underneath the shade, like, listening to the birds, like, reading. And I was like, this must be what that felt like all summer.
All summer.
And now I wish that could be my life every day. Like, just laying around.
Carefree.
In the
translating Heraclitus.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. But so Rome, I thought that was a cool part of their relationship. They're just so in love with each other.
Mm-hmm. And it's got to just be, like, interesting to see, because he's only known Oliver in the context of the house, in the context of being.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be interesting, like, at least for me, if I was with someone that I only know one context, like, to go to somewhere like Rome or to go, to a different city, like, it would be so weird seeing someone else in that light.
It's a different side.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
and
if they'd gone to America together, that'd be, like, weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's more of just, like, a playful side for them, too, because they could let go. And they didn't have to worry about people knowing, and they didn't have to give a shit, which was great.
Yeah.
All right, bathroom.
Yeah. So just, like, a fun part that they didn't include in the movie. And I've never been in love, so I don't know if this is how you act. But I don't know, did we decide if he was, like, just peeing or what?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I think let's just call it pee pooping.
Yeah, Elio's, like,
producing some excrement of
some sort. But Oliver is initially, and Elio's like, don't flush, like, I want to look, like, I want to know all of you, like, I don't want there to be any secrets between us, and then he makes Oliver watch him, and I'm just like, that is so weird, but at the same time, what a feeling would that be, that you just, like, don't care, and, like, this person knows everything about you, like, there's just no walls at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I just thought that was cool because and it happened so quickly too, like, just this, like, such pure, genuine love between these people.
So quickly.
Yeah.
Literally 2 weeks. They're already shit in front of each other.
Yeah.
So they do some extracurricular stuff with poop.
Yeah. But so Rome in general, I just think
it's good.
It's such a great, because, like,
it's a sweet goodbye.
Yeah. And the whole time they're saying, like, we're not thinking about the final days. And I think the mom says, like, oh, like, 3 more days or something. And that's when it's like, wow, like, this is really final. Like, this is all about to be over. In a week, I'm going to be home.
Yeah.
And it's like, none of this happened.
Yeah. And I think he said something about not wanting to go to his, like, he didn't want to, like, live in his room anymore, because that was, like, where Oliver lived for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and he didn't want Oliver's, like, presence to be washed out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And he talks about, like, wanting to go back to the beach where they ran on and, like, stand in Oliver's footsteps kind of thing. It's just so friggin' sad. But I told Alex, it's so dramatic. It killed me at some points. I was just like, oh, my God, okay. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it was like Twilight, but, like, in the dramatic sense. Like, it was just super, like, melodramatic. But not in, like, the writing sense or anything. Like, well, Stephanie Meyer, she's on her shit. She's got it.
Those were good
next
books.
book of the month is Twilight. Didn't we make that joke last?
Yeah, we did.
We should do that every time. Guess what the book of the month is next month? Twilight.
We should, honestly, once we're established. Just be like, fuck you guys, we're reading Twilight this month.
And I've already read it 40 times. I'll just read it 41 times. But yes, it was a sweet departure though. It was like a nice, God. like, you know, when he's getting on the train, he's just like, and they can't kiss because there's all these people around.
So, okay, so that's where the book and the movie begin to differ as well, in the ending.
Yeah.
So in the movie, they hug at the station, and then you see the train go away. Oh my God, I'm like already starting to feel the tears in my eyes.
I don't know.
And then Elio goes and he calls his mom, or I think Mafalda answers, who, I love that bitch. Mafalda, like, yeah. She cracks me up. She's like the housemaid. But, and in the movie, he, like, calls and it's her and he asks, like, for his mom to come and get him or something. And it breaks my heart because that's when he starts crying and that's when it's really starting to hurt him. But in the book, he seems okay. It cuts from, like, their last moment together. It doesn't even, like, go to the train station. And then he's on the train coming into B, and his, the male caretaker at the house is there to pick him up.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about.
He's the one that, like... Yes, and cheese.
And cheese.
And he, like, he helps, Oliver when he falls off the bike at the beginning and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So sad.
But yeah, and so that was about it. And, like, in the book, he talks about, like, you know, it's August, he's getting ready to go back to school, and he's kind of okay. Like, yeah. I'm sure, like, inside it was a lot more, but I think he was just, like, satisfied with, like, the whole situation, you know, like, it happened as good as it could have.
Right. And it happened in general instead of 6 weeks going by and nobody doing it. Oh,
God, but in the movie... the movie
was so sad.
Oh, his mom picks him up from the station. He's crying, and that's when they stop in B and he talks to Marzia and has that moment that I really think it probably helped him.
That makes sense. That's a
and
good
then
point.
From there it goes right to winter, right? And he's home on winter break, and that phone call he gets, which doesn't exist in the book. When Oliver calls and tells. So yeah, all right. I feel like I've been talking forever.
No. So that just goes to like the actual ending. There was like a significant difference between the two. So in the book, obviously they do their thing, and then at the very end, it has Oliver coming to visit Elio at the same house, right?
That Christmas.
The same house, but like 20 years later or something like that.
Well, so
30 years later. 20.
In the book. He visits that same Christmas that year.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And face to face, that's when he says, "I think I'm getting married in the spring." And in the book, Elio's like I'm happy for you. I'm genuinely happy for you. And it's sad because Oliver, like deep down, he doesn't want to marry this woman. Like that's not where his heart truly is. But that's what And so that's that. And then it starts going into the future, which I hated. I didn't want to know what was going to happen. I wanted to just, like, have my hopes. But, yeah.
The way the movie ended was so sweet.
It was so
I think it was the best it could have ended. I told Alex that I was for sure he was going to die.
Yeah.
Like, when I was reading it,
really?
I was like, there's no way that Oliver can live, and then it'll be like, that could have been, but he died, kind of thing. Like, he's a could have been, but he died.
I feel like if he had died, it would have been better, because then, like, he wouldn't...
You wouldn't know what could have been.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know what would have been, because he'd be dead.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be good dead. But I think that the ending of the movie was so much more satisfying than the book. I mean, I liked, somewhere part of me liked knowing, 20 years later they came back and were able to kind of sit on the lawn together.
Oh, but that broke my heart even more.
Because they know they can't be together, but then they're
their
able to have
life
that
is
time.
past them, yeah.
But then when the movie, the film ends and it's just fucking...
Elio after he gets the phone call.
Crying, sitting in front of the fire with that beautiful blouse on.
And so another thing I wanted to say, in the movie when he gets the phone call and they do the Elio, Oliver, calling each other by their names. Yeah. So I thought that was so beautiful and it needed to be in there for that ending.
Yeah.
But in the book, Oliver never does it again. Like the last page, he's like, they reconnect like years and years and years later. I think they're both in their 40s. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're at the house again, and Elio doesn't want to like bring up everything because he doesn't know, like it's all been said and done.
Mm-hmm.
But he says something, I can't remember what. He says, like, do you want me to show you this place? Do you remember it's where I blah, blah, blah? And Oliver, like, interrupts him. He's like, yeah, like, I remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just broke my heart. But then Elio goes to say, like, if you remember everything, like, when you get in the taxi tomorrow, like, turn to me and, like, call me by your name. Because, like, in the... I'm just, like, stumbling over all my words.
No.
But... in the book, it's like 9 years in the future or something, and Elio gets a call. Elio's now in the States, and he gets a call from his mother at the house.
Right.
And she goes, you'll never guess who's here. It's Oliver and his family. And Oliver gets on the phone, and Ellie goes, Elio, and he's like, no, it's Oliver. And that, I feel like, kind of, like, stung him because he's like, oh, he doesn't remember this. And that was such a big part. It was right after they had sex. He's like, call me by your name.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I've never felt that connected to another person before.
Yeah.
You know? So it was nice that they put it in the book, or in the movie, but in the book, like, you know, he really doesn't remember that.
Yeah. I think it was more of, like, a sweet ending.
Yeah.
I just wish they would have spent more time on the whole obsession thing. Like, I feel like if you're gonna, like, cut something short, fine.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they could have ended, like, you know, they could have ended it a little bit more solemnly, but did you fucking
That was
hear
Izzy breathing. I swear to God, that was Izzy breathing. I heard it.
I'm so fucking done. I'm so over this.
I'm on edge.
Oh, God. Where's my water? Oh, that's so sweet. It was a good ending, though. It was very sweet.
God,
Alex
the
and I
ending
were both
hurt
crying.
me so much.
Yeah.
I was sobbing as I knew what was happening, and I was sobbing.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna die, which... Alex! I hope y'all heard that on the fucking microphone. Rita so excited about it.
I'm not going out there. I don't have a bra on.
Me neither.
Should we go out on the balcony?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Alright.
So we just checked. The neighbors are home.
God,
Our house is not making
But he
noises.
just got home.
He said an hour ago, which is probably when we heard.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's fine. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about the ending and just how sweet everything was. And...
yeah. Just broke my freaking heart. I remember the first time I watched it, I was a wreck. And then I think I came home and you were like,
yeah, you
I
were
was like,
changed.
really?
She was depressed.
Well, I felt like I had experienced like a heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the very end, I was telling you, my heart hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those things where it was like, damn, like.
Yeah.
Because you can't change it.
And like for several days after it, I was just so like upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom called me like the next day about something totally random, and then we started talking about the movie again, and I started crying over the phone. We were just talking about like how like just different parts. It just like broke my heart. But like she made a good point, you know, like it was like their situation, they could have never worked out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, that kind of reminds me, I want to talk about Elio's dad.
Yeah. Oh, we need to talk about that whole speech.
Yeah, he talks about, he kind of infers it earlier in the book, like a little under halfway through, you can kind of hear like a little hint. I have a quote, but in the end, he's like, you know, we don't all get to experience, even in the movie and in the book, like he was like, we don't all get to experience that kind of love. Like, I know you loved him deeply. You know, blah, blah, blah. So his dad is really accepting of it. Obviously, his mom is too.
Well, and that speech was so beautiful because he's like, stop me if, like, I'm out of line.
Yeah.
And Elio, I remember it happens both in the book and the movie, but he's, like, thinking, like, he could be like, no, like, yeah, like, you definitely got it all wrong, and just end it right there. But he just doesn't find the words, and he just, like, shakes his head, like, no, like, you're right, like.
Yeah, so earlier in the book on page 99, let's all switch to page 99.
I'm flipping
Popcorn
to
read. I said, Elio's dad possibly could also have, like, a could have been. Because he says, and this is, I said infers it later in the book, but this quote I think is telling. He said, but there were mistaken turns, that is. Everyone goes through a period of traviamento.
Mm-hmm.
When we take, say, a different turn in life, the other via.
Mm-hmm.
Via.
I say
via, and people, it's via. Everyone says via, and I say via. I'm so interesting. The other via. Dante himself did. Some recover. I love this part. Some recover. Some pretend to recover. Some never come back. Some chicken out before even starting, and some, for fear of taking any turns, find themselves leading the wrong life all along. And I was like, okay. Yeah. His dad gets it.
Yeah.
And his dad knew this whole friggin' time. His parents knew. And his parents were okay with it, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, could they have been? But then also it kind of brings up, like, maybe they weren't meant to be together. Like, yeah, they had this intense love affair, but they were only together for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Like, they could have, it just could have totally been lust and also some love. But I think it would have been more heartbreaking had they got together and then
it not worked out.
gotten a divorce or something, you know? Or, had invested so much into the relationship and then realized they, hate each other. Mm-hmm. Or they end up hating each other. So I think both endings were, I think, better than them end up hating each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I loved how, so I guess let's talk about our quotes, because I have one of them is from the father. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you said, like he really just gets it, and I don't know, I don't think he wants his son to suffer the same, like, thing that he did, just not ever, like, never knowing, you know?
Yeah.
But one of these quotes, it's in that whole spiel his father gives, but it says, "We rip out so much of ourselves to be cured of things faster than we should, that we go bankrupt by the age of 30 and have less to offer each time we start with someone new. Mm-hmm. But to feel nothing so as not to feel anything, what a waste."
God, honey.
And when I read that, I was like, damn.
Yeah, damn. So is that one of your favorite quotes?
Yes.
Do you have another one you want
I have so many.
Okay.
How many do you have? We can just
2.
go back and forth.
2.
All right, I'll read. They're all kind of short. I'll read just like 1 or 2 of mine. Oh, this is kind of what Haley was talking about with like he loved just like the bottom of his feet and stuff. Aww. This was on page 5.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it says, and this is when Ellie was talking about whenever he first started, like, to, like, feel these emotions towards him. It says, "Maybe it started soon after his arrival, during one of those grinding lunches when he sat next to me, and it finally dawned on me that despite a light tan acquired during his brief stay in Sicily earlier that summer, the color on the palms of his hands was the same as the pale, soft skin of his soles, of his throat, of the bottom of his forearms, which hadn't really been exposed to much sun, almost a light pink, as glistening and smooth as the underside of a lizard's belly, private, chaste, unfledged, like a blush on an athlete's face or an instance of dawn on a stormy night. It told me things about him I never knew to ask."
And he wrote this bitch in 4 months. I was like, oh, just like writing a really long email.
Like, imagine having a conversation with this guy. Like, yeah, he's probably so eloquent.
I'd just be sitting there shaking my head.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and so this is another quote, and it's talking about kind of like common ground again, and just like wanting to like have things in common with each other. It says, a few hours later, this is on page 8, by the way. This is like the first 10 pages.
I would say it shows how obsessed he is from the very beginning.
It says, "A few hours later, when I remembered that he had just finished writing a book on Heraclitus, and that reading was probably not as insignificant part of his life, I realized that I needed to perform some clever backpedaling and let him know that my real interests lay right alongside his. What unsettled me, though, was not the fancy footwork needed to redeem myself. It was the unwelcome misgivings with which it finally dawned on me, both then and during our casual conversation by the train tracks, that I had all along, without seeming to, without even admitting to it, already been trying and failing to win him over."
Yeah, I love that. They mentioned that like once or twice about how Elio didn't almost didn't realize he was like flirting with Oliver, and Oliver kind of realized it first, and then he kind of realized, he's like, oh shit, we're flirting.
Yeah.
Which is cute. Kind of shows his innocence.
Yeah. All right, give me some of your quotes.
Okay. So on page 42, I think this wraps up the whole book perfectly. I read it and I was like, I want to get that tattooed on my face. It's like so beautiful. Page 42. It's in the middle of a sentence, so I'll just pick up. "There are certain wishes that must be clipped like the wings off of a thriving butterfly." Like, does that not wrap up the whole goddamn book in one fucking quote?
Oh shit! I don't even remember
I read it
that.
and I was like, I was shaking. And then on the next page, page 43, It says, wanting to test desire is nothing more than a ruse to get what we want without admitting that we want it.
I love that. I think I highlighted that.
And then page 157, I'll just go through all of them.
Yeah.
That's it. Page 157 is, and I think this also could be like the second quote. Like my second favorite. 157, perhaps we were friends first and lovers second, but then perhaps that's what lovers are.
Yeah.
This is what lovers are. Same shit.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was my
God.
It's so beautiful.
They are. All right, I'll read one more because I feel like I've read a million. This one's on page 13. I had been perfectly willing to brand him as difficult and unapproachable. This is Elio talking about Oliver. And have nothing more to do with him. 2 words from him, and I had seen my pouting apathy change into I'll play anything for you till you ask me to stop, till it's time for lunch, till the skin on my fingers wears off layer after layer. Because I like doing things for you, will do anything for you, just say the word. I liked you from day one, and even when you'll return ice for my renewed offers of friendship, I'll never forget that this conversation occurred between us and that there are easy ways to bring back summer in the snowstorm.
I read his writing like beat poetry almost, which is ironic because he said that he was like never into like beat poetry. He didn't write his first poem till he was like 15 or something, and he was
That's still young.
Yeah, so beautifully written.
Oh, and finally, it's I don't even need to read it, but when they first kiss on Monet's berm, I think it's before they kiss, but Oliver says something about, like, do you like me, or something along the lines of liking, and he's like, I don't like you, Oliver, I worship you. Yeah. And that's just such a beautiful thing, too, just like, he literally worshipped the ground he walked on.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to the obsession thing. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but just like, oh, God.
That kind of did alarm me a little bit, that he was like so obsessed from the beginning.
I think it has a lot to do with the age.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, as soon as I saw, as soon as I read, how obsessed he was. Now, granted, I had never seen the movie before this, so I was reading it all, taking it in for the first time. Mm-hmm. I got such a bad feeling. That's why I thought I was going to die. I was like, someone can't be this obsessed with someone without something bad happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something bad did happen.
That's true.
Back to the ending. So the movie ending with Elio crying at the fireplace.
That's so sad.
God,
that baby.
It was 2-3 minutes long, which is just like a feat in itself for an actor. But one of the fun facts I read was that Timothy Chalamet had an earpiece in his ear playing that Sufjan Stevens song, Visions of Gideon, I think the name of it was.
Yeah.
And he had that playing while they were filming that.
Smart.
So, he could kind of, know where he was in the song and know how long he had. But, just like that, having that song there to kind of just drive that emotion. Mm-hmm. My heart's hurting right now.
I know. It's such a sweet movie.
Oh, God.
So, do you have anything else to say before we get, excuse me, God.
Is there anything else on our outline that we missed?
Yeah, the overarching theme.
Oh, okay.
That we want to talk about. So we both kind of agreed that, like I said, the overarching theme of this whole book. Well.
Did you say arching or arcing? Overarching? Arching.
I said arching.
Arching. I guess arcing's not the right word anyway. Wait, I gotta blow my nose.
I think arcing doesn't have a C in it.
Yeah.
Overarching.
I'm so sorry.
She's underneath the table blowing her nose.
It's so much.
She got sick. We were in a foreign place from a hurricane, and she got sick.
And it's just lingering.
Oh, she's picking her nose.
I don't want to boogers while we're talking.
At least you're not making me look at them.
2 feet away.
Look at my boogers. I want you to see all of me.
I don't want any barriers between us. Okay, I'm better. Okay. Overarching theme, let's go.
But it's one of the big ones I think that we can talk about was Elio and Oliver's struggle with being sexually fluid or hetero flexible.
Hetero flexible, I like that.
So we talked about maybe the 1980s having something to do with it. Now, granted, they were scholars, so I think I hope I don't offend anybody, but I really don't give a shit. Usually scholars are a little bit more open-minded, a little less conservative. Some are conservative in, their political views, I guess. But, as far as, social stuff like that, which I think it should be separate from politics, but they're, a little bit more like, understanding and open-minded. Like, even his parents, like, he probably thought, oh, my God, my parents would kill me if they found out. But, I mean, his dad may have gone through the same thing. No, it's fine. And that they both kind of have, like, women love interests. Like, Elio has Marzia, and then Oliver has Kiara.
Kiara?
Yeah. And so, you know, they have those women there. Obviously, I think they are attracted to those women, but I think they also have those women there. So it's like if anybody were to question, it'd be like, no, I'm like with Marzia, I'm with Kiara.
Same with Patrick Bateman being engaged to Evelyn.
Preach. See, it's
full circle.
Full circle. And this Slate article kind of brings it up that the gay couple that does come and visit are like the kind of Tweedledee and Tweedledum, like typical gay couple. And it seems like, I mean, in the movie at least, it seemed like Elio. Is that like an Italian Elliot?
Elio. Maybe.
I don't know.
Elliot without the T.
Yeah, Elio. It's a cute name though. Like, he doesn't really seem uncomfortable with him, but he doesn't really care, which might just be his age. I don't know, he's not like... But I think, it doesn't in the book, he's kind of like, it's like, he's kind of like almost happy to see that, or...
Yeah, they're like family friends. They're not, it's not his uncle, is it?
No,
it's a
I think
family
they're family
friend,
friends,
though. Yeah.
But...
And the mom kind of makes like a comment. Not like in any like sort of like derogatory way, but like something about how like flamboyant they are or something.
Yeah, and then also Oliver's dismissiveness of Elio throughout the whole friggin' book. I mean, it was like up and down. I was starting to get annoyed, and then I was like, wait, this is how I am to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ice Queen
this is why it like woke me up. I was like, damn, bitch, pointing at myself.
Yeah.
Like, you need to stop. Like,
chill out. Love a little bit.
Ugh, yeah.
No, it keeps it fun.
Yeah, I
light,
guess.
tight, and bright. And then also Elio after sex, because he had done something that he obviously had never done before. He'd been like building it up in his mind, like, oh my God,
how
this
grand
is how exactly
it's
I want
be,
it to be. And it's like that with anything in life.
Yeah.
Like, you build shit up and then it happens and you're like, oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there were so many times where he's like talking about like, Oliver, if you come in my room right now, like,
lay on top of me. I'll pretend like I'm still sleeping.
Yeah.
So you could do whatever you want to.
But then like it comes to that moment and it's
no
like,
means yes. I was like, wow.
It's
a great area. I know it's 2007, but
Well, and it was sad in the 80s. Not that means anything, but
well, it does. I mean, and we
unfortunately.
talked about like we said in American Psycho of like the whole AIDS thing, and then just I guess that was a period of uncomfortability. Even 2007, I would say.
Yeah.
When was gay marriage was legalized?
It was only a few years ago.
It was 2000. My sister graduated. I think it was 2016.
Wow.
Was it? No.
It was before Trump was elected.
No, because I graduated in 2007.
It must have been 15.
When my sister graduated high school, I think it was 2015. I think it was because, well, she doesn't listen to this, but I was sitting there with my aunt who's like totally against it. And she was like, this is disgusting. She was like blown away, and I was like,
yeah,
everyone can get married now.
Equal rights.
Separate church and state.
Yeah.
Separate church and state. So yeah, that's a tangent, but
yeah, but that was still 8 years before.
Right. Exactly. And in this Slate article, they talk about how when this book first came out, they all like passed it around like their little like secret, well, not secret, but like book that they could all kind of relate to, and or not really relate to, but you know what I mean. Yeah. There wasn't really too many books like that, I guess, contemporarily at the time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But they talk about he talks about how everyone just loved the book and didn't even question it. Well, because
I think the book again was just about the love of it,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, a lot of people could relate to that. Straight, gay, fluid. Yeah. Not asexual. Yeah. I guess I don't know. Yeah. But also, and I wanted to say something about ancient Greece, and this is not my original thought, so I can't take credit for it. But I ran across it, and in ancient Greece, they were one of the first civilizations to kind of accept homosexuality. Like, it was, it was pretty much normal. Yeah. Or it wasn't normal. It was accepted. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't it was more accepted then than it was 50 years ago.
Wow.
Like, people were really cool with
Just
that.
free
and, like,
with it, yeah.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with it. So they keep mentioning ancient Greece, and I always thought, oh, it's just like a scholarly thing. But someone made reference to it, was like, oh, ancient Greece was like such a kind of an open time for sexuality in that period, in that place.
Don't they find, it's not in the book, but they find that sculpture out in the ocean?
Yeah.
Was that, I guess it wasn't Grecian because they were off the coast of Italy, but...
Well, Greece is near Italy.
Wasn't, I guess we don't know where they were. But yeah, it'd be cool how they, like, intertwine that.
And how they, like, pull them out of the water. And I was trying to find a symbol anywhere I could, and I was, like, overlooking the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love how with that sculpture, the arm in the movie, after they had kind of been icing each other out for a little bit, Armie Hammer, like, holds up the... Or maybe it's... I can't remember who holds the arm, but then the other shakes the hand. It's kind of like that, like...
Yeah. I want to say Elio held the arm, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe.
But it's like a truce.
But yeah, and then just with that, if it was like a Grecian piece of art, I can't remember. Wow.
It looked like it could have been like a statue from that period.
They said what it was. I can't remember though.
Me neither.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been 10 days since we watched it, so it's not our fault.
God, it's been such
like 11 days now.
It's like 12 days.
Yeah.
We watched it
on the night before
Monday.
we left.
It's literally almost been 2 weeks. I know. It's been a really rough 2 weeks.
It has.
I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, I don't either.
Other than I loved that quote, and that was like, I mean, it was such a good book, and I think it was so beautifully written that it's like The Great Gatsby to me. I could read that book over and over and over and over again because it's just so well written. But such a good book, so sweet. Like I said, a little melodramatic, but it was necessary.
Yeah.
I think, and especially because it was from Elio's point of view, it was like,
so
kind of had to be dramatic.
Yeah, and one of these book club questions.
And when the first time you're in love, that's really dramatic. So, you know what? I almost take back my dramatic comment. I have
Especially at the age of 17, everything is dramatic.
Yeah.
Everything is the end of the world at that point.
It still is.
Oh, but one of these questions, it said... If you could hear the same story from another person's point of view, who would you choose? I think it'd be so cool if they did a point of view, Oliver's point of view story.
Yeah.
And just his internal struggle with all of that, And going back to the States and deciding to marry this woman. And
well, the thing, too, is Oliver's there to, like, do a job. Like, Oliver's not there just to vacation, so he's probably got that conflicting, too. He's like, I'm working for this kid's dad. Like, I'm supposed to be working. I came here to work. I came here to study.
Yeah.
And, like, and I'm falling in love with his son kind of thing. So he's probably conflicting on that between, like, being professional and, like, not burning a bridge, I guess.
Yeah.
What artist would you choose to illustrate this book? I think that goes without saying. Monet.
Oh,
if you could go back in time and bring him back. I feel like they should have brought Monet more into it.
They should have. They didn't say anything about Monet's sperm.
No, I mean...
They have that in the movie, but, like, they don't talk about the significance of it. Like, Elio just says, it's like, this is where I come to be alone and, like, with my thoughts. He doesn't say, this is Monet's sperm.
And in the book, he leaves a Monet book on the coffee table for Oliver, and he's like, he'll know I left it for him. And they could have totally brought that back in.
And doesn't Oliver take the Monet postcard from his room?
Yep.
And he keeps it in his office. And those 15 years later, when Elio runs into him, he has it in his office.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Makes me sick.
Did this book's pace seem too fast, too slow, or just right?
It was just right.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, the book or the movie?
The movie seemed fast again, just because, again, like, you can't fit all that in. And it was like a 2-hour something movie.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the book, like, it could only be so long because it was that 6-week period, but, like, I think the build-up was, like, it needed to be as slow as it was, and it needed to take up that much of the book.
Yeah.
Because it was that annoying for the characters and the reader to be like, just hurry, like, just do it. Like, you both, like, feel the same way, just friggin' do it.
Yeah.
But I definitely thought the film was rushed. But aren't they all? But my thing is, if you're gonna make a fucking film, I mean, I know there's, like, a budget, blah, 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 but, like, go all out. Like, make that shit, boo, boo. Find you some fun thing. Apply for a grant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But at the same time, people's attention spans are so short. Like, after 2.5 hours, you're like, damn, okay, like,
yeah, that's
it's been 2.5 hours.
Like, and they still haven't even kissed yet.
Yeah.
But that's, it definitely was, like I said, he felt really fast, and that's why I thought something bad was going to happen, because it's very rare you find a book like this just have, like, a happy ending where they just live happily ever after.
It wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I was pissed.
No, I loved the film ending, though. I know we already said that, but I just love that ending.
I think, and we talked to, we can talk about it later. But yeah, universally, I feel like everybody enjoyed the film ending. Just because it leaves you with a little bit more hope. Like, you don't know where it could go.
Yeah.
And they are going to come out with a sequel to the movie. It's not going to follow the 20-year span at the end of the book. It's not going to follow that, is what Andre Assman has said. But
I wonder what...
I mean, not Andre Assman, Luca. Oh, okay, here's another little tidbit.
Tidbit it out, girl.
So, I'm just, like, throwing out random shit now, but... So, they only had one rehearsal before they started filming this movie, and, it was Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer and Luca, and they go to, like, this, like, grassy patch behind, like, the house they're filming at, and they're like, alright, let's just, like, do a quick rehearsal, and Luca goes, alright, turn to page, whatever. He just, like, calls out a random page in the script, and they turn to it, and it's when they're, like, kissing on the berm.
Aww.
And that's the first rehearsal ever, and so they're like, alright, let's do it. And so they get down, they start kissing, and Luca's like, no, like, you guys need to kiss like you mean it. So they start making out and making out and making out, and finally they're like, we've been making out for a really long time. And they stop.
Luca's just sitting over there like, hell yeah.
No, they stop, and Luca had walked away and had just left them making out in the grass right there.
So sweet. That's actually really nice.
I know.
I wish I could make out. I wish I was in the middle of that.
I wish
Haley
they
sandwich.
had, like, a film of that. Just shot it just for safety.
God bless
But yeah,
America.
I loved that. I thought that was so funny.
Ugh, they're both so cute.
Oh, God. All right, well.
So a couple of things that we didn't bring up. I don't even know if it'll be worth putting in after we have a conversation about it, but
we'll see.
Okay, so Dante's Inferno gets brought up a lot throughout the book, and we were just talking about how neither of us, know too much about it. There's, like, the 7 layers of hell. But so you have to get through the 7 layers of hell, and I know this because of the movie As Above, So Below. And in order to escape hell, you have to confess your sins and then take a leap of faith. And that's when they, like, jump through that little tunnel thing that brings them back up to the streets in the movie.
Oh, that's cute.
So, this is a stretch.
Okay.
And I haven't seen anywhere that, like, talks about any sort of theories. But what if he keeps referring to Dante's Inferno because his life isn't hell or anything?
Yeah.
But, like, he's miserable, not, like, really knowing the true, like, his true self.
Yeah.
So what if by, like having this relationship with another man, that's, like, his confession, he's like I'm gay.
Yeah, maybe.
And because of that, he can escape his hell, which is, the unknown. I don't know.
I feel like that's
stupid?
like a shower thought. No, that was
a shower.
good.
I probably thought of it in the shower.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because, I don't know, Dante's Inferno is brought up so much. I haven't specifically looked for stuff about that, but I'm sure there's stuff about it.
In reference to the movie.
Or into, like, to the book, because I don't think it's brought up in the movie.
No, if even they do, I think it would be, like, once that they would, like, it wasn't enough
it wasn't
to even
a
notice.
recurring theme.
I just don't know much about it, so it's like,
no,
I just say. Other than it's like a classic Italian.
About love.
Yeah. Who is it written by? Dante's Inferno? Was it?
Dante.
Are you lying? Wait, look it up. Was it really?
No, I don't think it was. I think Dante is the name of the character.
Gary Paulson. He wrote The Hatchet. Okay, so one time I asked a boy, we were talking about reading, right? He's like, oh, what are you reading right now? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. This was a while back. And so I'm like, not really reading anything, but I was like, I'm reading this, and this. And he goes, I was like, what is, like, your favorite book ever? And this motherfucker says, The Hatchet. We read that in, like, the 6th grade. How is that your favorite movie or your favorite book? Like, have you not read anything else? It's like, literally. And he was like, oh, what are you reading lately? The Hatchet.
I haven't thought about that since, like,
when he said it, I was like, no, that's what it. He also was like, who's your favorite author? And I was like, E.E. Cummings, which he's a poet, but I also think he's an author. And I was like, what about you? And it was like, what's the guy that wrote The Hatchet? His name is like, is it Chuck Paulson, I think it is?
Look it up.
I don't know. Doesn't even matter.
Hatchet. Gary Paulson.
It was Gary Paulson. That was the original name that I said before any of this came loose.
We can do ASMR now. So Dante's Inferno.
Okay, was written by...
I feel like...
It was written by Dante.
I mean, you know, we've been...
We're not the
We've
smartest.
said things that have been questionable before. In episode 1, I said that, like... What did you say? You said a sentence where, like, every letter was the same letter for the beginning
alliteration?
of each... Alliteration. Yeah, you were talking about alliteration. But I said the same syllables.
Well, you know, things happen. People are tired.
Yeah, I just
I'm
mean,
tired.
this really, like,
You're tired.
shows me how unintelligent I am. Anyway.
Oh my god. Literally, I'm rolling my freaking
It's
eyes
the
right
Divine Comedy.
now. Right.
I was calling it Dante's Inferno, like that was the name of it.
Well, it's almost like a subtitle of it.
And it was by Dante. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name at this point.
Well, yeah, it is a divine comedy, but it's about Dante's Inferno, and it doesn't...
Okay. We've already kind of talked about the ending, because I'm not even going to try to work this in throughout what we've already recorded.
It needs fluidity.
So we've already talked about the ending, but we were talking about... we're listening to it because we're going to post it tonight. These are last-second thoughts.
Literally, like, 2 hour beforehand second thoughts.
And... what were we saying? Oh, we were talking about how, like, you know, like, if you, like, it wouldn't have been the same maybe if they had stayed together because then they would have grown to resent each other, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's why I said it was, like, I like the way it ended. I mean, because we were talking about the ending. That's what got us to this point. And we were talking about the ending, and, I mean, I obviously don't love the way it ended. If I could have anything, it would either, like I said, have him die, or have them be together forever.
Yeah.
And, like, live in Italy and just be there and be happy. But all I'm saying is, like, the idea of them not being together might have worked out better than if they had stayed together and then grown to resent each other, like you said. Because, like, what I was telling Alex was the fact that he's 17 and he, you know, falls in love with this, like, older man, you know what I mean. Older
Gentleman. Lad.
This older lad.
This lad named Armie Hammer.
He's so
Sir
cute.
Armie.
But anyway, he fell for him so fast, and he fell for him at such a young age. And at that age, obviously you remember, like, you just feel like you know everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you feel like you've experienced everything.
This is it. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, literally. And so you think when you do fall in love at 17, you're thinking this is, like, going to be, like, the rest of my life kind of thing. And if I, at 17, and I'm a young chicken still, you know what I mean? So it's like, at 17, I thought I knew everything, and I try to relate to myself, like, in that moment, like, because I was in a really serious relationship around that time, and, like, how I thought that was going to be forever, and it actually worked out the complete opposite. I can't stop whispering in this thing. I hope he listens to this. It's okay. I've gained 40 pounds, and I'm living my best life.
Wait, okay, so, going back to he fell in lust. So, and also talking about that young love, like, you're very dramatic when you're young.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. At first, I thought you were like, you're really dramatic, so I think I understand this.
Let's talk about your past.
Sorry.
But, so, you know, and, okay, so we brought this up before, but I'll bring it up again. But, like, this is the first, like, man that he's slept with, you know, like, and he is young and very impressionable, and this is a huge milestone for him. So, like, is he really in love, you know, or is he just, like, just totally, like, infatuated with, like, everything that's going on right now? Like, yeah. Because, I mean, like, it is a huge deal, but, and I mean, like, you know, it's so quickly.
Yeah, and usually when you see someone for the first time, it's just my opinion, but, like, you're interested in them somewhat because of their looks. I'm saying before they even open up their mouths, you're like, oh, he's cute, or she's, you know, pretty. So I feel like he saw this, and because he is so young, he automatically related that with love. Like, automatically related that to love.
Yeah.
With love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean. And so I think, so he was thinking, oh God, I'm in love. Like, but even then, I feel like he wasn't so, like, he knew partially that it was in lust. Okay. It's really rude. But, you know what I mean? Like, he...
Yes, yeah.
But I think he thought they were going to be together for, like, at least a while.
Okay, and so then that brings up finally what I want to kind of address a little bit further.
Yeah.
Just how the book goes into the future, like 20 years or so.
Right.
I think I already talked about it once before, I'm sure, but just how sad it is that, you know, Oliver goes immediately and, like, marries this woman and has 2 kids with her.
Yeah.
And he lives this whole happy life, and Elio's kind of, like, stuck in the mud. Like, he talks about, like, sleeping with other people and seeing other people, but it's never, like, amounted to what him and Oliver had. And maybe in that, like, looking at it that way, maybe he really was in love, you know?
Well, but he says that. I mean, he said, oh, I'll never find anything like Oliver and I had. But, like, yeah, maybe the immediate attraction. But, I mean, there was really, like, 2 solid weeks of, like, a relationship there. You know what I mean? So when you look back on stuff like that, you idolize things, you know? And, you know, you
pick
don't...
out the perfect parts.
Exactly. You know, they say, like, you don't save ugly pictures of yourself. Like, you don't save ugly memories, you know what I mean?
Bitch!
Thanks,
That
babe.
is so good!
Thank you. Put that in there.
Oh my
but
God,
you know what I mean?
trademark that.
So, I mean, you, like, think back on memories with people that you haven't talked to in a while or something. You're like, man, I kind of miss them. And then you go hang out with them and you're like, I'm never fucking hanging out with this person ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even, like, you know, whatever. So.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why, and when you idolize relationships in the past, sometimes it can hinder your future relationships. That's what my psychiatrist says.
Oh my God, I was going to say, Haley, you're literally giving me, like, a therapy session right now.
Thank you.
That just
Thank
really...
you.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm, like, being reborn.
I'll
like,
send you an invoice.
The old me has died, and now I'm like...
Wow.
I can see clearly now. Oh my God, that's such a good way to put it.
Thanks.
Wow. But yeah, I just think, and I think that's why I do enjoy the movie ending so much, is because you are left with the unknown.
Yeah.
But in the book, you're being told, like, Elio has a happy life, but, you know, there's always that
gap.
That
void.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
everyone has a could have been.
Yeah.
Too.
I don't.
And by that time, I mean, he was, like, in his 40s, and maybe he's one of those people that is just not, like, a relationship person, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool that he's alone, right?
Yeah. I just want him to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, in order for him to be happy, though, like, he has to be happy with himself, you know what I mean? Like, if he's unhappy still, that Oliver's gone, Oliver's not the problem, because it's been, like, 40 years.
Well, and
so
then,
I bet he's happy.
I don't have my book beside me right now, but there's that one part when they do, like, finally first reconnect face to face in Oliver's office, and he, like, talks about the thing he took, and it was the Monet postcard.
Yeah.
And written on the back, do you remember what it was? It was, like, Heart of Hearts or something, but it was in French. He had written it to, like, one day, like, have his son bring to Oliver's dad's house and stay for the summer. You remember him talking about that?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it said.
I think it was, like, Heart of Hearts or My Heart of Hearts. Right, it's going. Alright. Heart of Hearts, yeah.
Heart of Hearts.
Cor cordium is Latin. But yeah, and I think in that moment too, Elio's like, that's, like, the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. And this is, like, 15 years in the future. And then cut to 20 years, and that's when he's back at the house, and they're standing on his father's ghost spot. Yeah. I loved that, the ghost spot thing. I'm just rambling at this point. I don't have anything else to say.
No, I'm just taking it in.
And Vamini, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I really have to say about that is I was kind of bummed she wasn't in the movie, because they had that kind of that special relationship.
Her and Oliver, yeah.
And it kind of tied him there a little bit more, because I felt like he was, because obviously you don't get to, it doesn't portray it quite how the book does, because there's not enough time, but, like, he was with their family a lot, but I feel like in the movie, it didn't seem like he was with them a lot. Like
Yeah,
having dinner
he was
and
always
stuff.
out.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and he also didn't have that character there.
Mm-hmm.
Bimini.
Yeah, Vimini, okay, so she was the neighbor, and she was, I don't know how old she was. She had to be like 7, 8.
Yeah, she was really young.
And she had, I don't remember what it was. Was it cancer? It was something, and she, like, right when she's introduced, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna, like, live very long. Like, I have this.
Yeah.
And, her and Oliver kind of, like, have this, like, instant bond, and they're always hanging out. He's always playing with her, and they always talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after Oliver left, she says something to Elio. And I guess that kind of takes the place of Marzia being, like, friends. Like, we're friends. Like,
yeah.
Marzia's the one that kind of understands what's going on with Elio.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the book, it's Vimini in a way. She's like, Oliver told me how much he liked you and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why they wouldn't include her in the movie,
Yeah.
though. I mean, even if the role wasn't that big, it still would be.
It was a sweet character.
Yeah, and still be relevant. Yeah, because it sucks when he was like, when they're like catching up and he's like, oh, Vimini died, like, or whatever.
Yeah, he writes, and I think, does he call or something? And he's like, I
think it was isn't it when he calls over there when Oliver, calls Elio from his house. Yeah, it was a good book, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was a good book to, like, finish out the summer with, you know?
Ugh, yeah.
Should we...
Is that it?
Yeah. Should we announce our October book of the month?
Oh, yeah. So our October book of the month is going to be...
Are we gonna drum roll? It didn't turn out great last time.
Light drum roll. Just like a light little pattern. Like rain falling on a roof. Just... It's going to be 1984 by George Orwell.
That's going to be our October book of the month.
Because
Get
it's kind of
ready.
creepy, but it's really relevant. It's like a pre-written Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, and it's kind of 2018.
Probably 2019.
I'm already going to throw up.
So I'm not having children. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, 1984. Get the book.
Oh,
Get ready.
This is just random. I just wrote that it was a literal modern day Shakespeare
Yeah.
play. Like, it was written so
it's a tragedy.
eloquently. And it's a tragedy. And it's, like, obviously a love story. They all are. But it's, like, it was just the way it was written and the whole premise of it, I guess. And it was just so poetic. And I was just...
So poetic.
That's
how I kept describing it to people. I was like, this whole book is just
a poem.
one long poem.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
One beautiful freaking poem.
So pretty. Okay, great.
Well,
so
thanks
yeah,
for...
1984.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in,
Thanks
guys.
for tuning in, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in,
guys. Thanks for tuning. Oh,
all right, we'll see you
Jesus
next time,
Christ.
bitches.
Bye. I love you.